First, I got a DM from listener Captain Joseph after yesterday's show. I wanted to touch on this for a second. This is, hi Bill, just a question I thought might continue from yesterday's show. Do you look at any of the moves that other teams pulled off this offseason and think Danny could or should have really been involved in order to improve the Flyers? Cheers from England, and thank you to our overseas listener over there in England. But that's something, we talk like I wanted the Flyers to do something. Right. But it's not as if Trevor Zegras is playing for someone else. Mm-hmm. It's not as if Shane Pinto is playing these guys that we've kind of had circled. Cole Perfetti is not on another team right now. Like these
Natchez still
hasn't been moved.
Yeah.
Is there anything you look at that you're like, that's the one?
So there's a couple.
Because I have one.
There's a couple conceptual ones. I think, and I put this in my article, my breakdown earlier this week. Check that out on allphly.com. It's not even behind the paywall. It's for free. It's just a straight up op-ed. But the point I made was that going into the offseason, and this isn't like not recency bias. This isn't me just like taking advantage of what happened. We talked about this in the beginning of the offseason. There were two teams that looked poised to do stupid things. They were Ottawa and Buffalo, because they were two teams that did not meet their expectations, that were in the rumor mill as like, we want to shake things up. It was straight up Billy Bean and Moneyball. Like, we're going to shake things up because this ain't working. And those are the opportunities where you're thinking like, we might be able to swoop in and win a trade here. Both of those teams made trades that I would consider to be stupid trades. Ottawa traded Jacob Chikrin for basically nothing. I mean, a third-round pick and Nick Jensen. So really not that much. And then Buffalo traded the 9th overall pick in 2022, Matthew Savoy, for a third-line center. Now, Chikrin, I didn't want him on the Flyers anyway. I don't think he was a fit. My point with Ottawa is that Ottawa was poised to do something stupid. They were there. They were at the edge of stupidity. You just had to be the team that pushed them over the edge. The Flyers were not. Now, I'm not saying they should have went for Chikrin, but maybe there was another player on their team that they could have been the team to take advantage of Ottawa's stupidity. Instead, it was Washington.
And with Ottawa, it seems as if the Ullmark deal with Boston taking Corpy back.
Yes.
The Flyers may have been plan B. Yeah. Like, we'll take on that Korpisalo salary, figure something.
If we move up.
It looks like the framework, that was the deal.
Yeah.
Where it was like, but they were able to pull off the trade for Ullmark and move Korpisalo, and it was like, well, that
And again, there are other factors. Yeah. It's not just that Danny messed up. It's just that
they got a Vezina-winning goaltender in a team that had no goal.
Yeah, that was an opportunity, and Ottawa made their dumb trade with someone else. Yeah. The Buffalo one, though, is the interesting one.
That's the one.
Because they traded the 9th overall pick, Matthew Savoy, in 2022 for a third-line center. The Flyers have a third-line center.
They have.
I don't know if it was as simple as just say, well, Matthew Savoy for Scott Lawton. But that's the trade you look at, and you're like, man, I wonder if they would have been able to do that deal.
Like, you look at Ryan McLeod, like, last 2 years, 11 goals, 23 points, 12 goals, 30 points. Yeah, that's Scott Lawton. Like, maybe less productive. Now, a little bit of an age difference.
Yeah, he's 30. He's younger.
And McLeod's 25.
McLeod is faster.
Yeah.
And also, McLeod's underlying metrics, especially last year, significantly better than Lawton's last year when they were really in the toilet. So possibly the Flyers maybe presented that. Yeah. And they were like, now we like McLeod better. But you do look at that deal and you're like, well, shit. And I don't know what Matthew Savoy is going to turn into. I will say that he's exactly the kind of player the Flyers should be taking a shot at. A top 10 pick with high skill, who's a left winger. Like, their weak point in terms of where they're, if they have a weak point on the wing, it's the left side, not the right side. That would have been a guy where you're like,
and just like,
kind of wish Danny could have found a way to be that team that took advantage of that desperation.
And like, just intangible wise, we all love the grittiness Lawton plays with, the leadership he supposedly brings to the table. And I don't mean supposedly, I just mean,
no, he does.
I can't speak to it personally because I don't play for the Flyers.
Fair.
But like, this is a thing that he's credited with. But one thing he's never done is been on a playoff run while McLeod was just in the conference final.
It's true.
Or in the Stanley Cup final.
It's true.
So like, I guess if you're looking for, we want some of that, they brought
that
in
experience,
like
the
they
winning,
bring in a Bowen Byram, and it's like, we love him, the player, and we also love that he has won a Stanley Cup.
He knows what it takes.
Exactly. I know we can put the air quotes around that, but GMs think about that shit.
Yeah.
Like, that is a real thing. But the Savoy thing, it's like, man, what if it was like Lawton and the Anaheim pick could have got that done? And I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it doesn't.
Maybe.
But Danny Briere was just on Flyers Daily with Jason Martinez.
Yeah.
And one of the things he talks about, like, going into next year's draft, like, they're excited for the 6 picks in the first 2 rounds. He's like, one thing I saw up close and personal this year was how coveted the early second round picks are. Because after day 1, everyone goes back, reconvenes.
Yeah, there's 4 guys who everyone is sitting in their hotel room like, how the hell is he still available?
Everyone looks at their board, and it might be different guys, but they're like, this guy we gave a first round grade to, and he's still there. How do we get him?
Yeah.
And then like you look at it, well, Flyers, not going to be great. Columbus, probably not that good. Anaheim, probably not that good.
Yeah, they're going to be high up.
There's going to be the
Flyers one is the only one where you're like, maybe that's in the middle of the round.
But it's still like, I bet you it's in the 30s.
Well, we'll see.
Maybe, but like, you look at them and go, these picks, they're basically late first round picks, especially if we look at the draft in terms of they think this is a much deeper draft.
Right.
Like, maybe that gets it, and maybe not. But I was hoping you'd say Savoy because that's the one I look at. And Ottawa is conceptual. Like, maybe there was something else there, but we look at what happened and what they did and say, they didn't miss on anything Ottawa did. But Buffalo actually did something that I wanted to take advantage of.
Yeah.
And that's the team. I was like, we need to steal someone from them.
Someone from Buffalo. You were trying to get Owen Power.
Yeah, my pipe dream was Owen Power, but steal somebody. And looks like maybe that happened. All right, so that's the mailbag question of the day. Thank you, Captain Joseph. Hit us up at PHLY_Flyers, or just tweet me, whatever, if you ever have a question.
We all silly like the mayor.